Jon Jones and Israel Adesanya go at it on Twitter. It started with Izzy tweeting, "Hey pussy, you still there?" Jones replied with this photo of Izzy when he got knocked out during a kickboxing fight. He wrote, "Wasting all that good oxygen. Someone wake this bitch up and change his tampon." Jones ended up deleting that tweet, and Izzy responded saying, "Did he do a post and delete Dwight? I've been KO'd once and I never made that mistake again. How many times you been arrested? How many times you pissed hot? How many times you had your belt taken off you? You never learn, you pulsing picto pussy." Israel Adesanya in a recent interview speaks on Paulo Costa. He says that the fight will be easy and he can't wait for it.
This is going to be easy. I don't even want to lie to you. This guy's not going to stand there and look at me like a statue. He's going to come forward. He's going to come hard, pause, and play, and fast forward. He's gonna be a guy that, like a bull, he's going to be, just dumb, and look forward to that. And he's beating a lot of people just because. Stand there. You watch all his highlights. All his highlights and his fights. When he's unloading on people, they're not moving. They're static or they're stuck. This is different. The feet work on this side is different. The head movement on this side is different. The looks, like the way you probe them is different. You understand? Everyone he's fought, tell me who has fought that's given him any kind of different looks or made him second guess an attack. I can't think of anyone. I can't think. Uriah started off a little bit, but then Uriah decided, like, I'm gonna just button bash and started throwing all this spinny. Didn't even work off his jab. This is gonna be fun. I can't wait for this fight. So this fight, I'll go sage mode, but in a different way.
In a recent interview with Brett Okamoto, Cody Garbrandt said that he would like to move down to the flyweight division. Petr Yan tweeted, "What happened to the plan to fight me?" Cody responded saying, "I'd fight you wherever. That was my plan, to fight you in June, July, like I stated, but you took a fight." Yan ended it off with, "I took the main event fight against the #1 ranked in the division. Was I supposed to wait 6 months for a guy on a 3-fight losing streak? No chin and no logic." Daniel Cormier in a recent interview with Ariel Helwani speaks on Stipe Miocic. He says that if he corrects the mistake he made in their second fight, Stipe will be in a lot of trouble.
I think right now he's being a fireman, which is what's way more important. That's way more important right now. That's what he should be worried about. But, he doesn't want to fight me. Maybe he doesn't want to talk about it, but I bashed him upside his head for a good 20 minutes, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I wouldn't want to fight me either, like, what if you can't punch me in the stomach next time? Then what is he going to do? So it would be very difficult to think about fighting, us fighting again whenever, he understands that if I'm healthy and when I'm healthy and, I correct this little bit of a problem I got here, he's gonna have a lot of trouble. He's doing the right thing, worrying about the virus. I get it. He's a service worker. That's his job in this time, and I applaud that. But when it's time to get back to the fight business, you got to play the fight game, and he doesn't necessarily play the fight game, and that's why for someone so talented, right, and such a phenomenal fighter, he just has not made that connection with the world for people to tune in yet, and it's because he won't play the fight game. Sometimes you got to play the game, and he isn't willing to do it. Because this is a grand opportunity, right? This is the opportunity for him to take a guy, me, that he beat last time, that I beat him before. We're in this great trilogy, right? Like one of the best trilogies in heavyweight history. This is the one to play the game. This is why you play the game, and if he ain't willing to play the game in this one, I don't know what or when he's ever going to be willing to play the game. And at the end of the day, he'll walk away from this thing, and you'll have a lot less zeros in your bank account because you didn't make people care. So ultimately, he's only hurting himself. I think, like, right now, honestly, man, like, I do believe that he's being genuine in saying that he's just worried about that other stuff, right? Most people are. Like, not everybody's still thinking about the fights, Like, right. People aren't all just sitting there thinking about when am I going to fight next, and especially a guy like Stipe, who's made money, and his money probably goes pretty far living in Ohio. So it's like he can focus on a lot of different things right now, as opposed to worrying about when and what the next fight's going to be.
Anthony Smith in a recent interview speaks on Jon Jones getting arrested for DWI. He said he expects Jon Jones to continue to have issues outside the cage. Speaking of MMA fighting, he went on to say, I've done the things that Jon Jones has done. I've been in a drinking and driving accident when I was the driver. I've gotten multiple DUIs. I've been in jail before. None of that stuff changed until I was ready to change. That was it. I don't hide it. Jon is trying to hide from everything. Until you can be a man with your head held high and say, you know what, I've f***ed up and I'm done being a f***ed up, nothing is going to change. You see the fans saying the UFC needs to do this, the UFC needs to do that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they do until he's ready to change himself, and it's cliche. It's every self-help book you've ever read in your whole life, but it's the truth. I didn't change until I was ready to change. We all know how this story is going to go. He's going to do his little rehab thing. He's going to come out and do a 45-minute interview. He's going to apologize. He's going to talk about how he's going to change. He's going to say how he appreciates everybody, and then we're not going to hear from him for a little while. Then he's going to fight, he's going to win, and he's going to thank everyone for sticking with him the entire time. And then a year later, we'll be starting over again. I know what mine was and I know what it took for me to change, but it's not losing his title. It's not financial, because he's already lost a shit ton of money. It's not his public perception, because he's already trashed that a couple times. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff going on and there's a lot of demons he's got to deal with. At this point, nothing Jon Jones does would ever surprise me. It's crazy. It doesn't matter what Jon Jones says, it matters what Jon Jones does. What he says and what his actions are two completely different things. I don't give a shit what he says, I care about what he does, and I'm not rooting against Jon Jones. Kamaru Usman on the UFC Unfiltered podcast speaks on how close the UFC came to booking the title fight against Jorge Masvidal at UFC 249. He also says that Leon Edwards is the most deserving of the next title shot.
I called my manager and I said, you call him back and you tell them, let's try to make this fight now. And that's when I guess they were back in, they reached back out, and then now they were kind of talking back and forth. So there was a chance that this was going to happen now. And I was already in the gym 3 times that day. Yeah. So I got that weight from, I was sitting at about 196. I was sitting at about 196. I made sure I got that weight under control. It started to gradually come down. And they said, all right, they're working on it. I guess they were talking to them. But, you know, you're clearly saying no when you're not the champion. You don't have the belt. You come in and you say, oh, if you want me to do this, I'll do it for $8 million or $5 million. Clearly, come on, you're clearly saying no to the fight because you know they're never going to go for it. And so that was the kind of situation. And so they kind of said, basically left it out there that we're still talking. All the while, I'm cutting weight. I'm still dieting. Yeah. 3 days, the whole week, last week rolls by till Friday. This last Friday. Yeah. I got my weight all the way down to about 186 pounds. I had sparred, and I'm telling you, man, I snapped back in that quick. I was plugged in. I'm like, I'm ready to go, and I'm like, I still have no confirmation, and I'm at this point, I'm starting starting myself because I'm not literally. It's not like I'm fat and I'm
for sure.
You know, like this is going to be painful for me to get down there. So I've been kind of dieting. I've been kind of basically starving myself for the last 4 days. Still no question, no confirmation. So I told my manager, I said, hey, if they don't give us a confirmation by a certain time tonight, I'm not willing to do this anymore because I'm not going to starve for nothing.
Of course.
And then it got to the point where he reached out to them, and I guess they were still on the fence about it. And I just said, you know what?
Right, forget it.
They're not going to commit to doing this. Then you know what? I'm out. Absolutely, and I've given him that props for it, and I've said it, like, you know, I honestly, he deserves the fight more than Masvidal. Yeah. Look at his body of work since he fought myself. He hasn't lost. He's beaten top guys. He's beaten Cowboy Cerrone. Gunnar Nelson was ranked, and he beat Gunnar Nelson.
Yes.
Albert Tumanov was a killer back in the day, ranked in the top 15, and he finished him. And he hasn't lost since he fought myself. And then you've got Masvidal. He takes 2 or 3 losses in a row, and Wonderboy kind of beat him in that embarrassing loss, and then he goes away for a while. Then he comes back, has a good year, and now all of a sudden everyone's saying he's definitely the guy. Let's be honest, that is the fight. That's the fight. Winner gets me. Honestly, that's the fight. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to wait. I got to eat too. So if they want to throw one of those guys in before, then absolutely I'm okay with it. It's the same thing in the same situation as as Woodley and Covington at one point.
Yes.
You know, like that fight's good now. Like they can make that fight. That's a great fight. You know, I've beaten up both guys, but now they can go and make that fight. I've already fought Leon Edwards. You know, if you know, I need to make a little bit of money. You know, so if I need to beat up Masvidal next, I was hoping I was going to do it in 2 weeks, and then they can still do that fight, him and Leon Edwards. But you know, we'll see what happens.
That's going to wrap it up for the news. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to Full Mount MMA on YouTube. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to UFC 249 getting canceled. The first one says, at least we could still reschedule Khabib versus Tony. The second one says, don't worry guys, this is the MMA way of telling us that they prefer Ferguson versus Khabib too. And the final one says, guess I'll cancel ESPN Plus and Disney. No use for them now. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next video, be sure to drop a comment down below on this one.
We're looking for new writers for our top 10 series, so if you're interested in becoming an intern for the channel, be sure to contact us at contactfullmount@gmail.com.